And we're back. Better than ever.
Just when
How you
thought
feeling
it was
about...
safe.
Oh,
Who?
go ahead.
What? Where? Why? Sometimes how?
That part. So how are you feeling about this week's episode, Dad? Are you nervous? Are you scared? Because I know my anxiety's through the roof.
Yeah, a little nervous, a little scared.
I don't even know why, because it's not like we don't talk about this stuff anyways, but a little scared.
Yeah. Well,
A little nervy.
let's see how it goes.
So you guys don't even know what the title means for real. But everybody, when we were talking about, our podcast and what we're going to talk about, every time I would ask somebody what they wanted us to talk about on the podcast, they wanted us to talk about boys. I know why, because, I sure do love to pick them. And people find my pain amusing. So they really wanted you to, put your input on it, Dad.
Well, I don't know where to begin. Yeah. Where to begin? Yeah, because I guess my first thing was like, why did you want a boyfriend so bad at such a young age?
Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute here.
Oh.
It's in my notes.
Oh, well, okay.
But
where do I
yeah,
start?
because basically, because the love life really started in elementary school.
Yeah.
And just really went up from there. But the episode title is The 7 Bs. Do you remember the 7 Bs? Because I know I do.
You better.
Do you?
No.
Yeah, so then what are you talking about? You better.
Because I drilled them into you for a purpose.
Well, the 7 Bs are books before boys because boys bring babies.
Yeah, I did remember it.
And I feel like you sent that to me in middle school. And yeah, it's drilled into my brain. So that's why that's the title. Because books before boys, because boys bring babies. That's it.
Yeah.
So basically what I figured we would do is just kind of go through the timeline of my boyfriends. And I only say boyfriends or like really hardcore talking stages that you knew about, because there are like a lot of talking stages that you didn't know about that kind of like are just like irrelevant-ish. But yeah, so I figured we would go through each one, basically go through the timeline, what happened, and then talk about how you felt about them, and then that might spark up a conversation about them, whatever. And then we actually each have 10 questions that we're going to ask each other back and forth at the very end of the podcast. That the questions, I don't know, I don't feel like my questions are very bad. I know I had said for like to make them like bad and juicy, but like I don't really think my questions are that bad. But I guess I'm going to call them like invasive questions that we're going to go back and forth with. And they're progressively going to get worse up until the 10th question. And that's it.
Hooray.
Yeah. That's basically what I thought. But so we're not actually saying these people's real names. And if you accidentally do, it's okay. But I came up with nicknames for them. So I'm going to message them to you in this little thingy.
Okay.
So that when we talk about them, we give the nicknames. Oops. Can you see that?
Yes.
So you ready? Ready to get into it? Really dive deep?
Let's do it.
Okay, so like you had said, was my love life really started at a young age. Truly began in middle school, the 5th grade, because I remember it was Mr. Sather's class. I'm going to start off this podcast on a good note. You were right, Dad.
Hmm?
You were right about it all.
No shit.
You were right about not dating boys back then. But I think that the reason why I really started as young as I did was because everyone was doing it. And everyone was like, I got a boyfriend. Oh, I got another boyfriend tomorrow, So I think that was a thing. And then also, it's kind of sad that this happened and started so young. But I think that it was like kind of a way to get validation in a sense. Because like at my middle school too. But elementary school experience wasn't the best. And like for some people, their little elementary school relationships like weren't really that big of a deal. But because of like who I am and how my heart is, because I really don't think I've changed like my heart, I guess, wise since elementary school. But I think it just kind of started like a bad trend of boys, and we've just never recovered.
Yeah. Well, I have my own theories on why that trickled down and continued to be a thing, but
Do tell.
oh, I think that comes later when we get into the questions.
Oh, okay, great. So, I thought this was going to be a funny story to tell. Did I ever tell you how my elementary school boyfriend is how I figured out about porn?
No, you did not.
I didn't tell you that one.
No, I remember there were some kids that walked to school that lived near you, and they had an obsession.
See, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
at all.
that might have been high school though.
Huh. Yeah, no, I don't recall that one. But elementary school, when I was solid 9 years old, is when I figured out about lesbian porn. Let me tell you the story. So basically what happened was my second little boyfriend, right? And also, you know, obviously you could see the nicknames. We're not going to talk about my elementary school boyfriends because they really don't matter. But my second elementary school boyfriend, he stopped texting me. And at the time, this was when Instagram had like that little application, which I don't know if you were on Instagram at this time, but you could see what other people were doing on Instagram. So it was like, oh, this person liked these 3 posts and this person just commented on this post. So you could see every single thing that the people you followed were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had gone on there and I was like, let me see what my boyfriend's up to because he hasn't texted me back in like a month. And I went on there and it said, yada, 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 just like these 3 posts. And it was lesbian porn. And I clicked on it and I was like, what the fuck is this? So then I thought he was cheating on me. And then I texted him and then his sister broke up with me over his phone. Or he did. And he said that it was his sister liking those videos on his Instagram. But really it was him because he's a little boy.
Yeah.
And that's the story about me finding out about porn.
9 years old, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, did not know that.
Yeah, it was honestly tragic because I definitely cried a lot about it.
Yeah. Okay.
You have nothing to say, Dad? That was it?
But yeah, what do I say? I would have been against the whole thing. I'm betting if you didn't have a boyfriend, that episode wouldn't have happened. So that's
true.
Kind of what I'm going to fall back on. It was a terrible idea, and you did not listen.
Well, I'm blaming it on you anyways. Anyways, so then we get to middle school. And then, honestly, again, disappointed in myself in middle school. But, you know, you live and you learn. I think that middle school, I was only single for like a month.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, because like the first boyfriend was like a year and a half, like straight-ish, like there was some breakups in there, but year and a half basically, and then the next boyfriend was like another year and a half, like on and off or whatever. But yeah, so I feel like I was only like completely 100% single for like a month or so, maybe a little more than a month. But yeah, you live and you learn, so that's that. But also, even though you don't really know about zodiacs, I do want to put in the zodiacs of all of these boys because I just think it's kind of funny because I definitely have a trend. Just so you guys know, I'm an August Leo. And,
Nothing.
What'd you say? What'd you say so the people can hear you?
I said, all hail.
Yeah, I'm an August Leo. You are a September Libra. And this first boy, we're going to call him Bear. He is a Gemini. And it's honestly sick in the head. But anyways, so Bear, I didn't really have much to say about. His family still loves me, but I don't know. I kind of was saying, like, I don't think that there was, like, a real relationship because, you know, we were young. And I would say he was my first quote-unquote love, but, like, we broke up because he was a dickhead. But all boy heads, wow. Boys in middle school. Boys in middle school were douches and dickheads, so it is what it is. Did you ever meet him?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
When did you meet this one?
I don't know what school function it was, but...
Oh, wait, it was a basketball game, wasn't it?
Probably.
I think it was a basketball game. Did you have any opinions on him, really?
Yeah.
Or like based off stories that I told or anything?
No, not a whole lot. I only half listened to the stories that you told, just because you didn't necessarily tell the bad stuff until it got really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I only half paid attention, and I just felt you guys was too young to even be playing the game. But
Yeah.
I got outvoted, so um, wasn't necessarily a big fan. Wasn't necessarily not a big fan.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. He kind of, it was what it was. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll move on from him because I really didn't have much to say about him anyways, but I just wanted to include him because he kind of was on and off throughout middle school. And then on top of it, like he kind of made his way into the entrance of high school, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll get there in a second. So then there was Aquafina,
Mm-hmm.
and this name is your fault because you liked to call my two A boyfriends by A names, just random ass A names.
Not even names, just words.
Yeah. Okay, so these are what I had. This is the notes that I jotted down about him. I said that he definitely was sweeter than Bear, but I don't think that I liked him as much. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that sounds legit.
But yeah, I said that he was a crush of mine before Bear. Though I think this is funny. I did think so I liked him before Bear, like back in sixth grade or whatever. I had slipped my number into his locker because him and I had lockers next to each other, and I thought that he was kindly rejecting me because he never texted me. And then I got scared because I thought I had the wrong locker, or I thought he was ignoring it. And then one day we ended up like crossing paths when we were at our lockers, and he told me that his phone was split in half.
Mm,
And I definitely thought that he was lying. So that crush was very, very short lived.
mm.
But then we ended up actually getting together, which I don't know. This is very ironic to me or like funny. But we actually got together after I helped him with this girl that he liked before me. This makes me laugh. He bought her a necklace and like some other stuff. And I think it's so funny because I'm not shit at all. Because I remember once he bought her that stuff, she somehow rejected him. Like, I don't know how that happened or why it happened. But I remember I tried to give him the necklace. Or I tried to get him to give me the necklace. But then he told me he gave it to his mom and I was upset.
That's funny.
But funny thing about him, you actually know and knew his family prior to me knowing him.
Mm-hmm.
Story time.
Yeah, worked with his aunt, and yeah, just knew her from work. But then we socialized outside of work as well. So
Did you actually meet him before I did, or did you only know of him?
if I met him, I do not remember. I was at a couple family functions prior to you guys hanging out, but he wouldn't have stuck out for me. He wouldn't have meant anything.
Right. Another thing I said, I didn't think that I liked him all that much because he was kind of a sissy. Like, I'm all for a man in touch with his emotions and his feelings, but when he's more emotional than me, it's a problem because I'm the most emotional person that you can get. He was emotional, clingy, insecure, like just a bunch of issues that he had to deal with himself, which I mean, I had issues too, but like I just couldn't deal with it. So I think that's why we broke up like the couple of times before we like finally ended it once and for all because of like the little emotional issues that he had. Because I remember I ended it like the final time, and that was like right before high school. So I was kind of just like, I don't want to go into this troublesome relationship going into high school.
Well, then it
But
was
yeah,
going to be a long distance relationship at that point, right? Or were you not here
um,
yet?
no, I wasn't. I wasn't there yet because I was going into freshman year, and I was still with my mom.
Yeah.
And we were going to the same high school. But the first time that we broke up, he thought that I was cheating on him because some of our quote unquote friends, soon to realize they were not really friends, or we were not really friends because they're not shit. But oh my god, I need to burp. Oh my god, got it. Okay. Told him that I was cheating on him, even though I was literally just conversating with a friend because my friend was basically cheering me up because Aquafina made me feel like shit because I was in IPA, which was the integrated performing arts thing, the thing that I did for Annie.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember this year we had started a new thing called the Hawksers, because we were like, our mascot was the Hawks, and it was basically the Oscars is what like our teacher said or whatever. And I wasn't invited. Like, I didn't get invited because I won an award. She wanted me to announce an award. And so all of my friends who had boyfriends, they were like, oh my God, my boyfriend's going to be my date. Da, 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 da. So then I had asked him, I was like, oh, do you want to be my date? And then he was like, are you up for an award? And I was like, no. And then he was like, okay, so then why would I waste my time? So of course I went to class and cried. And then my friend was like, it's okay. Like, if I can go with you. Da, 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 da. And then someone overheard and then told him, and then he broke up with me because he said I was a cheater.
Okay, that's interesting.
Did you not know that story?
Not that your version of it. I never dove into it. The version that got to me through his family would have made it sound like you got caught naked with somebody. It just
Ain't that bad a bitch? I want to know the story.
Well, it wasn't in details. It was just like it was the most horrible possible thing that could have happened.
That's funny. Yeah, no. Yeah. And then the gag is the boy that said that would go with me didn't even end up going with me. And he like, it wasn't even a for sure thing either. He was like, I don't know that I can get a ride because my mom doesn't have a car right now, and I don't really have anything nice to wear. But if you like need somebody to go with to be emotional support, like I'll go, like da 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 whatever. But yeah, that's funny. Anyways, then the second time, I think I did it because I think we broke up a total of 2 times before finally breaking up. But the second time, I think I did it because he was insecure and I had no patience. And then I remember he pouted in our classes. But you know what? I stuck my ground a little bit because we did end up getting back together. But I wound up ending it before getting to high school because I just knew he would hold me back from having fun experiences because he was just so clingy. And I just knew he was going to want to be on my hip, and I wanted to go out and do things. And he wasn't the type to like go out and do things. So I just knew it was going to be tragic. But it was a mess because we had classes together in high school, and I think I shouldn't laugh. I'm going to hell. But I remember we were like, when I tell you we were not even in a high school for like a week, and he texted me because he missed like 3 days of school, and he asked me like for the notes or something, and I was like, why weren't you in school? And he goes, my dad took me on a vacation because I just couldn't mentally handle seeing you every day in class. Like, boy, go ask someone else for the damn notes. I don't care. Like, you're pathetic.
Yeah, you didn't share a lot of that when you guys were kicking it. So most of that I heard after the fact, or when you guys were towards the end. So I thought he was pretty cool as far as trying to take care of you. The stuff I was seeing was when he would take you out to dinner and whatnot and that kind of stuff. So the nice spoiling things really is what I saw. I didn't see all the clingy and trying to be up under you all the time.
Right. I feel like he didn't take me out that much. Like I remember when we had talked about him at one point you had said that too, like where you had said that you thought that he did like more to like, like, I don't know, treat me right, I guess, in a sense. But I don't know. I feel like he didn't really do much of that.
I feel like there was a couple 3 holidays, either birthdays or Valentine's Day or...
Yeah, because I know we went out for like our 1 year or whatever, and that was when he had taken me to Salty's. And then, I was that the time? I don't know if that was the time that he had his mom like pick me up from your spot or whatever. But then I know there was
boyfriend. It was either that or the mom's boyfriend.
Right. And then I do know there was this one time where I did get picked up because he had a baseball game that was like near your house.
Mm-hmm.
There was that time too. And then I feel like we didn't really go out much.
I feel like there was a couple 3 times, and I thought that was pretty decent for being a kid his age.
Right.
Not really having a bunch of money.
Right. Yeah, he was sweet, just too much. But I think it's also funny with him because shortly after we had like broken up, or like shortly after like the whole like I had to go on vacation or whatever, like in high school, I had set him up with his girlfriend, and like and I was literally their relationship counselor because they like were both trying to talk to me, talking about some, I don't know if it's gonna work because we just don't have time. We play softball and we play baseball too much and da 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 da. And I was like, if you want it to work, make it work. You know, I was like basically just doing that kind of stuff. Then for whatever reason, he started shunning me, and then I think she stopped liking me like right before I moved because I had made a TikTok about his mom liking me, which I don't really give a fuck about, and I don't know why she did either. Well, no, I guess I get it, like, you know, jealousy or whatever, but it really wasn't to be an asshole. I just thought it was funny. And then she seen it, and then I remember because she used to sit she was in my advisory, and she would sit by me like in every single advisory class. And then the day that I posted that, she didn't sit with me, and I was like, shit, my bad, y'all. But yeah, oops. I didn't mean it. Well, no, I did mean it. But anyways, I think, okay, so then I wanted to talk about going back to Bear a little bit. I would say I wasn't shit in middle school, but like I was shit in middle school. But I didn't even really mean it for real because Bear and I kind of rekindled and continued to still be friends like throughout even high school or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I remember we started talking again in the very beginning of high school. And then this is also why I kind of say like he was like a first love type thing, because somehow we always made it back to each other like in between relationships and whatever. But every time Aquafina and I broke up, Bear and I would talk. Mm-hmm. Yikes. But and I remember also one time when Aquafina and I were broken up the summer before 8th grade, I want to say that was like the first time that him and I broke up, because I remember after the whole cheating thing, I was like pissed at him. And so I kept us broken up for like a while. Like, I'm pretty sure it was that whole summer, because I was like, no, because you thought some dumb shit and now that's your fault. And I remember like me and Bear had gone out because my mom really liked Bear. Mm-hmm. And I don't like your mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I didn't like that at all. But I remember one time him and I had gone out that summer, and mm-hmm. I'll cut that out. And then Aquafina was with Jalen. And I remember, I think Jalen knew where I was. See, this is why Jalen's a homie. I think Jalen knew where I was, and he was like keeping it from Aquafina, but he was trying to play dumb because they were both texting me talking about some, where you at? Where you at? Like, you know, like, let's hang out. Like that. Jalen knew what was up for real. But I was with Bear and my mom and Casey, and I think Austin was there too. Shit. But we were all at like this like concert thing or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then there was another time, which I still kind of feel bad about this, like, even though I know I shouldn't. But that same summer, some of our friends, including Bear, because we were all kind of like in a mutual friend group, but we had went to the movies, and Aquafina kissed me in front of Bear, and I didn't know that this was going to happen. And then I went home and told Bear I didn't know why he did that, even though I did know, because me and Aquafina were still kind of talking. But I definitely played them like fools. But not anymore.
Oh, Lord.
But I do want to mention Aquafina's a Libra. Okay, now your thoughts.
On Aquafina?
Yeah.
I liked him. I thought he was cool. Like I said, I thought he was trying to do the right things and stuff. So I gave him credit for that, whether it was warranted or not. But like I said, I always take it with a grain of salt, because you don't tell me the bad or weird type struggles, and I'm sure it's because I've always threatened to kill him.
Yeah.
So,
do you think that once I got to high school, I started telling you more of the bad, like actually during it, or no?
I am not sure. Possibly, but I also think some of that might be the fact that I was trying hard not to be an adversary. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I felt that some of that distance from you sharing some of that stuff was because you're always worried that I was thinking the worst of them anyways, and you didn't want to fuel that fire.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just going to say something and I forgot what I was going to say. But, yeah, I don't know. And then I feel like maybe because like once I got to high school and then like actually started like having like these other relationships, I feel like things got more serious. So maybe that's why I told you about them. I don't know, but I feel like I definitely started telling you more of the bad like once I got to high school.
Yeah.
I don't know.
High school in
But
general or high school here?
I would say high school with you just because I didn't really like, I didn't have any relationships until I got to your house. Why did you?
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I don't. I don't necessarily pay attention. In my timeline, stuff is horrible in my head. So yeah, no, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Like there was people that I talked to, but the beginning of high school, like when I went to school with my mom, like it was basically just like a year and a half break from relationships because everybody there, it was like they like because I didn't even go out on dates when I was with my mom.
Yeah.
Not because I didn't want to, but just all the boys over there just were not shit. Like there were a lot of creeps. Like, and I will say that I was one of those freshmen that fell victim to, oh, the senior's talking to me, man, I must be mature, because that's how they were like acting or whatever, and you know, talking that big talk. But then I remember one time my mom got really mad at me because I was talking to a senior and I didn't really know it was bad until she had said something, and then I was like, shit, yeah, you're right, huh? But I don't know. I just had a lot of bad experiences with the boys in Sumner, and like a lot of them just wanted sex. So nothing really happened until I transferred schools because nobody gave me like positive attention. Because even though I definitely had like insecurity issues, which I think is a reason why I put up with a lot of the bullshit that I did with these boys, like I still relatively knew what I was worth. So I knew better than to do that with them, you know? Yeah.
Okay.
Then transferred schools, going down the line. Now we're on to the first boyfriend when I moved, which was Amphibian.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say about him other than I'm disappointed in myself but also I think that he was just like a really big mental milestone for me and like was definitely like a pivotal moment in my self-healing and self-love journey. And I'm trying to cut myself some slack with him because I like every time I think about it, I just hate myself a little bit more. But I'm trying to cut myself some slack because I think that like that relationship kind of was brought up like almost, how do I explain it? Like as a high. Like I feel like I was like high off of like the thought that someone could like actually genuinely like me after almost like 2 years of not having that.
So some type of affection withdrawal.
Yeah.
Amphibian was not really a big fan.
Were you not a big fan from the beginning?
Correct.
What made you not a big fan of him from the beginning?
It was a vibe. A bad case of the cools.
Yeah, that was for sure him.
Yeah, I don't know. There's probably a bad case of the cool, some level of narcissism. I just didn't feel you were being met halfway with that one. It wasn't. You seem to be more on the giving side than the receiving.
Yeah, for sure. I like my little notes for him was that he was manipulative, disrespectful, and misogynistic.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you got all that. I feel like I definitely told you some of like the misogynistic pieces of him because remember that like that one time where like he called me a whore because I said like Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah, so yeah, we just weren't a fan of him. I don't really know why. Yeah, I don't know why I put up with that.
Yeah.
I try to justify it, but I don't really know.
No idea. You probably were getting a lot, not from him, but from the family.
Yeah, because his family did like me, and yeah, I think it also part of it probably was also because it was quarantine, and like I said, like the initial because I like we started dating really quickly after I moved. And then, so I didn't even really give anybody else a chance or shit, even myself a chance. But then we went straight into quarantine and he was like the only person that I really knew from the school. So I think that I was kind of like trying to hang on to that too since we weren't in school. So I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
other than, of course, like Yasmin and Devon and all that kind of stuff. And also, I think I was trying to hold on to it because Yasmin was vouching for him.
Yeah.
So I was like, there has to be some kind of good in him because Yasmin wouldn't do me.
Yeah, not intentionally.
Yeah, which she didn't. And she definitely has apologized for it multiple times. But yeah, and also, guys, keep in mind, this is the one that we talked about in the last episode where he made motherfucking spaghetti with tomato sauce. No, not tomato sauce, tomato soup.
Yeah.
Yeah, his family cannot cook. Very sweet, but can't cook.
Yeah. Learned to have dinner ready for you when you came home.
That was so funny once like you and Amber started picking up on that because I would get a text from Amber like right before coming home talking about there's pizza in the fridge for you. It's like, yeah, y'all know what's up. Y'all know what's up. Yeah, another Gemini. Just to throw that out there. Any thoughts?
Yeah, just that
I feel like I'm just doing a lot of talking and I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of how it's going down, but yeah, my thoughts on that one. Like I said, I wasn't a fan. Wasn't a fan, but that's probably also the one that I tried the hardest not to have my opinion color what you were doing in any way, shape, or form. So I didn't say anything.
Just cause.
Well, because I thought that was one of the reasons, that you felt the need just to share the good side.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I thought that would make you more comfortable. And something I don't remember what the setting was, but at some point I heard something that made me be like, you know what, you're right. I probably should ease up a little bit. When another dude with daughters or with sons, I think it was his son or something, where he was saying, "All you guys talking about how if my son comes to his house, you're gonna get beat up or whatever, and you're protecting your daughters and what have you. Don't forget that you were once those boys trying to come to the house, trying to see what was going on." And I kind of thought about it, and even though nobody ever physically threatened me as a kid, I was thinking, yeah, that's probably too much. I probably shouldn't offer to rip little kids' arms off and things like that. So I was trying to turn over a new leaf and be better about it. Plus, at that point, now you're in high school, and I don't have as much of an issue with you trying to date at that point than I did at, say, elementary or middle school.
Right. That's funny, because I definitely did notice that you, definitely started easing up, but I didn't know that that's why.
Yeah, those were the factors that were going into it. I don't like the way you said
I get it from you, so live it, learn it, love it. Yeah, sounds like you. Sounds like you and Jamma learned from the best.
She's a oomer.
You said what?
She's a oomer. She ooms.
Oh, oomer. I thought you said boomer, but without the B.
Bless your heart.
Is she a boomer or are you a boomer?
I think me, but I'm not 100%.
Are you a baby boomer?
Possibly. Born in 67.
I don't know. Someone tell us if he's a baby boomer. Anyways, so yeah, we both collectively agree that we don't like him. I don't know. I feel like he was a fever dream. I want to tell you what happened, but I can't, and I don't even remember because I think I just blocked out a lot of that.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, I blocked out a lot of it because it was kind of traumatizing.
Yeah.
I know. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think some of that also was trying to find something that was totally different than Aquafina.
What do you mean?
Because it was almost two opposite sides of the coin. Other than the fact that they were both white dudes, they were totally opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. And also with him, I think, which it's funny, I think that they both had. Okay, no, I don't think. I know they both had jealousy issues, but for some reason, in my head, I'm thinking it was kind of on the opposite No, I don't know. It was like kind of like on the opposite spectrum, and like also another thing that I didn't even write down, but I just remembered, like, what's his name? Amphibian. He was very, very controlling too. Like on top of the misogynistic like side of him, it was also like controlling. Like I remember one time we were sitting on a FaceTime call and he found out that I was following one of his friends, but his friend didn't follow me back, even though I would like to throw out he did used to follow me back. And then after him and I broke up, he did follow me back again because then we became friends. But anyways, not the fucking point. But I was following him and then he like screamed and yelled at me about following him and him not following me back, and oh, he hates to see that his girlfriend's a fan, and oh, he's light skinned, and so I like light skins. I don't like. And I think he also definitely had like a complex about him being a white boy and me dating him, even though before I'd only dated white boys, so I don't really know why that was a thing.
You probably heard it a lot growing up.
Yeah. Actually, that would definitely make sense because, like, white boy growing up in a pretty diverse neighborhood, that's probably actually, because I know I heard it growing up, like being a mixed girl in a white neighborhood, so it's probably the same, like vice versa. Because he definitely did have like a complex about it. People say that I'm cute for a white boy, but you like light skins. Like it was a big thing. So then he like made me unfollow him, and then like all this. So he just had a fucking complex all the damn time. But I think not only was he like jealous of other guys, but I also think that he was kind of like jealous of like my successes in a way. Because he wasn't really doing shit, which also bothered me. And I don't remember if I ever talked to you about that too, but like I know like there would be times where like we had planned to hang out and then you would bring me to his house and then I would come in and he wouldn't even answer the door. It would be like his brothers or his mom. And then I would go up to his room and he'd be asleep at 4 p.m.
Yes.
Because he was up until 5 a.m. playing the damn video game.
Yeah.
Which it was quarantine, but like get up.
I was trying to tell you that in a nice way.
Were you?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't recall. Yeah, I don't recall. Because then I would get in there and like wake him up and be like, get up, brush your teeth, shower, do something with your life. And then he would like try to kiss me and I was like, no, you fucking stink. Like back up, go do something. So yeah, I don't know. I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, a lesson learned.
Yeah, so then we'll move on. Next down the line is Mickey Mouse. Him also a disappointment. And I don't have any explanation as to why I fell for him. Looking back, I cannot explain my infatuation. He also was someone who wasn't doing shit. I think that he was just very much a sweet talker. Like, I think that's what it was. But, yeah, had his own shit going on, needed to figure himself out, whatever. I also don't know why I gave him so many chances, considering we weren't official. So it was, like, there wasn't any real reason for me to sit there and try to make it work because, like, it just wasn't a thing. I don't know. But also another Libra. And I don't remember if I already said this, but the last one was a Gemini. But, yeah, so this one's a Libra. Dad? Let's break down how you felt about him.
From the beginning.
Because we know you had some feelings.
Yeah, I was trying to tell you through the whole thing. He ain't shit. He's not about shit. All that shit he's telling you ain't shit. It's not about shit. He's talking shit. Don't listen to the shit. It's just a bunch of shit. But you was not feeling me.
Yeah, he actually just came out with a freestyle yesterday. Go stream. I'll send it to you after this. Yeah, where is he supposed to be living? Illinois?
Something that sounded successful.
Yeah, doing real estate. Yeah, he came out with his first freestyle, so that's what he's doing instead. Yeah, I'm embarrassed about him. Everybody who I tell that story about, embarrassed. He also was just a douchebag. Like that whole party situation that I went to, and then he was like sitting there trying to rub it in my face and whatever. Like he was the whole thing. It's funny too because he lost one because he be checking in on me sometimes. I be seeing it. He be like he'll follow me on Instagram and then unfollow me if I don't follow him back, or he will view my TikTok profile or like something of mine or view my story. I'm like, you're not slick. I see you. I see you. You see me. We see each other. Like I see you.
Yeah. That one was a
But
waste of time from the beginning. I was that might have been one where I was actually disappointed. Like I don't know why you are not listening.
yeah, yikes,
Yeah,
ouch.
yeah, that one was horrible, horrible.
Yeah, because I was heartbroken.
Could not understand it.
Like, cried for a week straight. That shit was crazy. Like, when I seen the memory, because this was last summer, I think. So when the memories popped up this year, like 1 year ago today, and it was just me bawling, I was rolling. Like, literally rolling because I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was definitely an episode.
Yeah, I couldn't figure that one out. That one is something I would expect from somebody that wasn't getting attention from their dad. That was that type of poor choice.
All right, not too much.
No,
Not
no,
too
I'm just
motherfucking
saying.
much.
I'm just
Not too
saying.
much.
That's what I'm saying.
Anyways, next. We gotta move on from that one.
Yeah.
Then we have Ted.
I didn't have a
Do you know
name for
why?
him. No.
No. Do you know why I'm calling him Ted?
No idea.
Ted Bundy.
Oh my gosh.
Cause he was fucking crazy and we didn't know what. But I included him because even though I didn't like him, I still feel like I should have put him in because one, his story with me is crazy. Like that blew my mind. And two, I just feel like he was also a big milestone for me because I think that with him, like that's when I realized that I was like actually growing and like setting boundaries with myself and like, with like the whole like telling him I didn't want to be with him,
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I think that I didn't like him, one, I must have had a bad feeling and had no idea that I actually had a bad feeling about him because, like I said, he's crazy and we'll talk about that in a minute. But he also, like, from the very beginning, trauma dumped a lot and love bombed a lot. So I feel like, in a way, like, that also kind of red flagged my body and, like, my mind and everything like that. And also, I just think that, like, I don't know, for some reason, like, I was rejecting that because I knew that that wasn't healthy. But I think that that's why did you?
No, just go. I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
Oh, but I think that that's why like I didn't really like him for real because like I'm not gonna sit here and excuse his behavior with like the things that he told me, but like I don't know, some of the things that he told me about himself like was way too much for the beginning, which that's why I think that like I don't know, it was just kind of like a turn off, like a mental turn off. Yeah, but you already know the story. I already told it to you, the whole, Ted Bundy story, but I'll go over it with the listeners because I always think it's entertaining. What, it wasn't entertaining for you?
I'm not sure if entertaining is the right adjective, but go ahead.
I definitely was scared for my life. No, I wasn't scared because I knew he wasn't really going to do nothing, but it did blow my mind for sure.
Yeah, do share. If you're going to get into it, go ahead and do your thing.
So basically what had happened was, we started talking or whatever. We went out a couple of times, we went to the movies, went to dinner, went to the mall, we did stuff. And then basically I just ended up finding out, didn't really like him that much, like, cause he was just quickly talking about I think I'm falling in love, like, da-da-da-da-da, like kind of just being weird. And I was like, you know what, like maybe it's not a thing. And then we went to like homecoming together. So any of you guys who have seen the homecoming pictures, don't go look, you're gonna know who it is.
Oh shit.
But yeah, went to homecoming or whatever, introduced him to my friends, came into the damn house, met you. Did he meet Amber?
Yes.
Oh, wait, didn't you say you had a bad feeling about him when he just walked in?
Yes.
That's so funny to me. Anyways, but yeah, so met my friends. Shit, even met my best friend, Jalen. And when Jalen has a bad feeling about someone, like, he'll let you know. And he didn't, literally nobody had a bad feeling about him. But, yeah, so then we, like, went out or whatever. Then basically I told them, I was like, hey, maybe let's slow down. I'm not really feeling it, whatever. But we still continue to be friends. And like, I was supposed to help him with like college apps and stuff like that. Cause I don't know. He was just like, that whole situation was weird in itself. And I should have known, like when he was talking about I'm going to enroll myself in the military to punish myself. Did it like, I should have known that was something weird when he had told me that.
Oh goodness.
But oh my God, Dad, guess what? off topic. Why did my friend yesterday? So I got off work, right? And I went like straight to my friend's house because we were going to have like our little picnic thing and I felt bad canceling. But we went to like his house or whatever. And I had changed into my sweatpants, but I forgot shoes. So I had my work shoes on. I had some sweatpants on, some brown sweatpants and a white tank top. Why did he tell me that I looked like I was in the army straight out of boot camp? Then I came home and Tampa said the same goddamn thing. She said I looked like a fucking Marine.
Hoorah.
And then Ale told me today that because when I had left, he was going with his other friend who is another one of our coworkers, and they were going to go get sushi and dye his hair and stuff like that. Why did she say that I looked like straight out of boot camp?
You didn't have the same outfit on, did you?
No, yeah, because when I was leaving his house, she was pulling up. So she seen me in that fit.
Gotcha.
So 3 people told me I looked like I was straight out of boot camp. Anyways, back to the story. So then, whatever, time passes, we're still cool. Then all of a sudden he stopped talking to me. And then me and my friend had gone to a basketball game, which was against my school. And he went to a different school, but in the same district. And it was against their school. I had seen him and I went to go like congratulate him or whatever. And he was walking away with a biatch. And I was like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Then I texted him because I was feeling a little petty. I was feeling a little feisty. And I texted him and I was like, hey, if you had a girl, you could have just said that. Like, I had no problem with that. You could have just said that. Then he was talking about some, I don't have a girl. You were posting about guys as soon as when you knew I liked you, whatever. Then I had posted a TikTok about it because I like to post my business on TikTok because I think it's funny. And people also think it's funny.
You're dumb.
Huh?
You're dumb. Go ahead.
And people also think it's funny. So basically, I'm just an entertainer at heart. Don't.
Yeah, that was a for sure.
And his little girlfriend had seen it and commented, and then Tirit thought that she was trying to fight, so then he commented back at her trying to fight, and then she was like, I'm not trying to beef, I just want to talk. And so then basically somehow we ended up getting on the phone, and long story short, we ended up figuring out that he was cheating on her with me. And yeah, and then she told me that he was crazy and said that he was going to slash my tires and threatened to kill her multiple times. So, yeah, but funny story, they're still together. So honestly, I think she's as crazy as he is. What's like a female serial killer? I need to know because that's her name now.
Oh, there are probably some ones out there, but none that come to mind off the top of my head. None of them are as famous. They're better at it.
Because they're better at it than men and can hide it better, huh?
What's that one? There was one that there was a movie about. I think her name was Monster. Charlie Louise Theron, is that right?
I have no clue who that is.
Oh, that's the actress I think that played her.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but yeah. So that's basically why we call him Ted, because we had a Ted Bundy in our home, and had no idea. But he hasn't bothered me since. And when he threatened to slash my tires, it wasn't to me because he knew better. He motherfucking knew better. But yeah, also a Libra. So you guys can kind of see the trend here going on. Yeah, and then I think he was the last one up until the Grinch.
Yeah.
You didn't have a nickname for him either.
No, he was not around long enough for me to get that attached.
Yeah, no, he wasn't really, but yeah. Then we have the Grinch. The reason why I call him the Grinch is because Jalen said that he looked like Baby Grinch in this TikTok that he made, and I can never unsee it. But yeah, with him, I don't know. I was very much confident in him. I think that he was good in the beginning, but I also think that like with him, I was just like a completely different person. Like meeting him, because like I said with Ted, I feel like he was also a pivotal moment where I kind of knew my boundaries and knew that I was setting boundaries. So I think that with this guy, I had the boundaries, like already set in place type thing. So when I seen something happening, it kind of like, you know what I'm saying?
I think your alarms were set off sooner than later.
Yeah. And like, I knew, so like I was kind of like, not keeping my distance, but I knew when to tackle problems and how to tackle them because, I knew myself a lot better and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, and I think that he has potential, and I think that he like is a good guy. I just think that he's immature and a little ass kid because he's the only guy that I've ever talked to younger than me, and that is for a reason. Yeah. I don't know. How do you feel?
With him specifically, I think I was hopeful, but it's probably because I was picking up on a lot of "you're hopeful," and he came around and was fairly personable, and wasn't doing anything too crazy, nothing where I thought was too out front, disrespectful. So
I think you also like the fact that he was scared of you.
I think they all were to some level.
I feel like he was like more like upfront with being scared though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's kind of what I noticed, but yeah, I don't know. And like, not to be like the girl who's like, I'm different than the rest of them, or like I changed him or whatever. But like, I definitely do feel like there was like real feelings there, and I think that, like I said, I think that he was just immature, and he has his own issues to deal with, which everybody has their own issues to deal with. But I feel like his own issues kind of had to do with like, what was going on, because I think that he was also relatively controlling, but at that time I knew that I couldn't be controlled, so it was kind of like, better. Like, it was like every time he would try to do it, like, this ain't motherfucking me, so fix it now or move the fuck on. Like, that's kind of how all of our like quote unquote fights went, essentially. Like, and I would say that I didn't really have a problem with it, which like I'm proud of myself for, I would say. Like with the whole like prom thing. And I feel like also with him, I told you like the bad as it was going on.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Like I said, with the whole prom thing, like I talked to you about that and how he didn't want me to go to prom with Jalen and this and that and the third, whatever. Like, and I feel like I tackled like the problems like well, and I think that if we would have talked longer before actually starting to date, I think he would have quickly figured out like, oh, I can't control her. But the reason why I kind of say like with him, he like, I think that there was something like real there, I guess, is because from what I understand, he's just like, he treated me a lot differently than he's been treating the girls that he's been with since me. Like after him and I like broke up or whatever, I told you about all that petty shit that he was doing at like the track meet.
Right.
And stuff like that. And like then my friends were telling me like at the next track meet or whatever, he was over here like grabbing on a girl's ass or something like that, like at the track meet. And then I was like, you must have, I was like, either you have no self-respect or she's just a toy or a ploy or something like that. Cause you never did that with me. Like, you didn't behave like that.
Yeah.
I remember he hugged me at a practice, but like that was literally it. Like I don't know, he just knew better. Or like with me, because I know a lot of guys won't post their girlfriends because it's like, oh, like I don't want people to see that like I have someone officially, because I want to be sneaky and shit. But he posted me right away. But these other girls he didn't post at all or right away.
There might have been. And I'm sure that you can place a lot of it on immaturity. I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah. So, and like I said, and also along with the immaturity stuff, just a lot of the behavior that he did after the relationship, it's like, it's almost like I feel like he was definitely hurt, but again, the responses were just immature. Like it was just unnecessary, immature, whatever. But I definitely do feel like I dealt with him in the breakup a lot better than I dealt with the past ones.
I would say you got over it faster than I would have anticipated.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I got over it faster and like I think easier, because I think like this plays into the faster part of it as well. But like I said, with the boundaries, and I think that I could sort through my emotions a lot easier and like place logic on it, because I know that there were definitely times like where things were going on after the breakup where it was kind of like, oh my god, I must be crazy, or he said I'm crazy, I must be crazy type of feeling, which like I had gotten before, but before I feel like in past relationships I couldn't convince myself out of it.
Okay.
But with this, for whatever reason, like I was able to logically convince myself out of it. So it was like he would like with the whole him and the girl, like, but oh my god, Dad, oh my god, I fucking forgot to tell you. How ironic. So you know what I fucking figured out yesterday? So remember okay, so after him and I broke up, he was doing all that petty shit at the track meet. Remember when he got a tattoo with those little girls? And I told you about it. And then how the little girls were fucking snitching about me or whatever, talking shit to Coach, and then that whole drama. Then he texted me, and I told him I was like, so you messing with that bitch? And he was like, no, what the fuck are you talking about? I would never. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
And then also I knew that something was going on though, because when him and I were dating, he had told me that the day before we started dating, that girl had texted him talking about what are you doing tonight? Da 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 da. And then he was like, yeah, but I'm pretty sure she was talking to yada yada yada. Then when him and I were dating, this was the little girl that I was friends with, that I fucking paid for her damn birthday dinner. Listen, guys, listen, listeners, bitches ain't shit. And let me motherfucking tell you why. I paid for this bitch's birthday dinner, drove all her motherfucking little friends, paid $800 for that shit, didn't even get all my motherfucking money back. Then she gave me some bum ass motherfucking braids that wasn't even good for real to pay me back for that damn $20 that I didn't get back. Just for her to go get a matching tattoo with him at the motherfucking track meet. To be a little bitch and then talk shit about me and spread my motherfucking personal business. I had nothing to. Oh my God, don't even get me started. But then when him and I were dating, she was trying to, because she was like with her little boo or whatever, which they've gone back and forth. My audio lines on this recording are so big.
They have been the whole time.
I'm really close to the microphone, but they are so big right now.
Yeah, they have been.
I'm going to have to lower my volume when I edit this. But she had invited him and I to the spring fair, right? We didn't end up going. Why the fuck did I just figure out yesterday that they are motherfucking messing with each other? Intuition does not lie.
I think I've told you that. I think I've told you that.
You have, but like, it blows my mind every time.
Better start listening.
But it's still gonna surprise me, because why am I psychic? And why also am I an FBI agent and figure everything out?
I don't know.
Like, literally can figure shit out in a heartbeat. Anyways, I forgot I had to tell you that. But yeah, so long story short, immature. Pretty sure he was I was the real feeling one, and he can't get over it. And I also have had a feeling since, like, when I went to prom with Jalen, that he was going to hit me up again. And I still have a feeling that he will do that at some point. I just don't know when.
Yeah.
So I'll have to keep you guys updated. But he was the one that broke my trend of zodiacs, because he's actually an Aquarius. For all the listeners that know about zodiacs, Dad, you know nothing about it.
Nope.
But yeah. So any last thoughts before we get into our questions?
No, that's what I can think of.
This podcast was just an hour of me talking. Great.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I think the listeners learned a lot, and I think they feel a little closer to you than they did before.
Good, great, because next episode it's going to be your turn. So, all right, Dad, you ready for these questions?
No, not really, but let's do it.
Okay, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay, so like I said, I really don't think that like my question's that bad. But my first question: which boy was your favorite? And this could be favorite in any aspect, I guess.
Let's see. That's a good question. Probably have to say Aquafina, to be honest, but
really,
yeah.
I figured you were gonna choose that one, but I was hoping you wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know that I have as many good things to say about any of the others. Amphibian.
I feel like the Grinch you would have if he was around longer.
Possibly, depending on how he handled his business and whatnot. Possibly, yeah, he's one though. I still would have. I needed to see more, because like when you mentioned something about the job that he had or was supposedly had, I remember thinking at that time, hey, that's pretty good money for a kid your age. Why don't you have at least a half-ass piece of car? You wouldn't have to have like a Mercedes or nothing, but you could have something to get around town in if you're making the kind of money.
He didn't have a license.
Oh, well, that's another thing. then that means for me, and maybe I'm just old fashioned and corny that way, but that's kind of like how as a middle teen you kind of show your drive. No pun
Right.
intended. Is like you try to do some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not trying to do that, then what are you trying to do? Kind of like if
Mm-hmm.
we went back to Mickey Mouse when
Mm-hmm.
he had all those grand dreams and whatnot. And I was trying to tell you, you can have all the dreams in the world, but you're not telling me how you're going to make it happen. And
Right.
I've been around for a while. I ain't seen the dream fairy yet. Nobody out here with fairy dust just making shit come true. You got to go figure out how to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Aquafina, I thought had something going with his sports too. I thought, uh, that's something that he had in his favor if he was gonna move forward in that. Because shit, I was seeing they were folks not that much older than him getting drafted by major league baseball teams and whatnot. So
He's playing at TCC now for baseball. Like, that's where he committed.
no,
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of thought that was funny because I definitely did think, like, I don't really know much about baseball. I don't know enough about baseball to say, like, I guess whether he was good or bad, but I thought he was pretty good for at least his level. So I guess it kind of surprised me when I figured out he was only signing to a community college.
everybody that I was talking to, but of course they had they might have had a slight bias. Was his family and whatnot saying how good he was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
like I don't know. I didn't, and I also didn't really find baseball interesting. So like I really couldn't tell you what was good versus bad. But I don't know. I thought he was pretty good.
yeah.
But yeah, only signed to a community college, which very much surprised me. But that's also another thing that, like, why I kind of thought, like, okay, with the Grinch, he must have had like some kind of special feeling or special, like, certain amount of respect for me or something like that. Because, like, I don't know, I felt like he was going in the right direction when he was with me, but everything that I've heard since him and I broke up has just been bad. Like, with me, he was taking track seriously. Like, he was continued to do it, like, with football and like getting back into football because he was in and out the team and everything like that. Like, whatever, but he was trying to get back into it, like this and that and the third. Then all of a sudden, like I said, like when him and I broke up, was acting a fool at the damn track, like thinking that he didn't have to go to practice and whatever, and then stopped playing football. All of a sudden started smoking again, which he hadn't done since him and I were dating. Like, just a bunch of shit that I'm like, yeah, that's, y'all like me for real.
Yeah, I won't try to guess what the catalyst was and what was going on in his world to make these things happen. But yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah. Okay, your turn. Your first question.
Well, you kind of touched on it already. Was why the need to date so young? Yeah, you kind of went over that already. Yeah, because even against my better wishes, when normally I think I usually get a fair shake at a vote when things like that happen. This one I was totally outvoted, and neither one of you guys want to listen to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of also surprised that my mom was like, I don't know if she was necessarily okay with it or she thought that, like, I was going to do it regardless or what it was really, but
She was in a different form of denial, to be honest, from my perspective. From when I talked to her, when it was like, yeah, she can have a boyfriend, but she can't say I love you and something else you weren't supposed to do. And I'm like, unless you're around 24 hours, I don't know how you're going to enforce any of that. So it's going to happen. To think that it's not is dumb. But she was like, she had her head set like, it's just going to be like a little thing. No, I love you. No, no. Like, okay, all right.
that's funny.
Yeah. Then I try to talk to you sensibly. It's like, okay, all right. Moving
Okay,
on.
well, now you know. Now you've heard it. Yep, you were right. Do you feel better or what? Like,
Okay.
does that satisfy you?
All right. We'll see. I get to do it again here in a little bit.
Oh yeah, have fun.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'll talk some sense into Isla. It's fine. I'll get to her. I don't think she. Well, no, she is gonna be boy
Uh-huh.
crazy, but because I was gonna say I don't think she'll really like boys, but no, she'll definitely like boys. But I think that, like, she's not gonna put up with shit. Like she's gonna be a player. She's gonna have 5 boyfriends in one day in elementary school for sure. Like none of it's gonna be personal. You'll literally tell her, yeah, go ahead and have a boyfriend because she'll have 7. She's gonna be playing motherfuckers left and right, back to back. Like I'm not really worried about her. I'm not.
We'll see.
She had all of my friends on a damn leash. all the boys. She was out here playing with Devon at the graduation party, playing with Jalen. Why does Jalen not Jalen from like middle school Jalen, but Jalen like friend Jalen or whatever? Why did he be talking about some? Yeah, I'm gonna come see her and make sure that she's not being with boys and did it. She has them on a motherfucking leash. Ain't even known the man for 5 minutes, and he's over here talking about some. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure she not got no boyfriends. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you will.
Dumb.
Yeah.
So
freaking Isla.
So yeah.
Alrighty. My second question, which we also kind of touched on a little bit, which boyfriend or boy were you most disappointed in me for being with? Which I'm assuming is Mickey Mouse. We kind of touched on that.
Yes, that would be the one.
Friggin' Bella.
I will not go into any more detail than that. I'll just say that's the one.
Yeah.
You
Anyways,
called
your
it.
turn.
You called it. What's my next question? So, do you feel you actually chose any of these guys, or do you feel they all chose you?
I think Bear, I made the move on first. But the rest of them, I think they all made their move on me. So I would say that for the most part, I think that they chose me. And like I said, like before Ted, I feel like I kind of lacked that self-love and like boundaries portion to the point of saying no. Which is kind of like where, like how I think they kind of all weaseled their way into my life.
Okay.
Just that's all I get.
Well, I mean, it's interesting that you say the self-love part, because I think I've always tried to make sure that I was extra there, and you never had to ask or crave my attention or anything like that. So that was always something that I thought would keep that other feeling at bay, or allow you to be able to be like, no, I don't need you around. I'm good over here.
I think it had less to do with like you and more to do with the environment that I was in. Just because like I was so used to growing up and just like boys, like because I think when you do have your dad like in the picture, like obviously that matters, but I also think that it almost kind of like makes it be like, oh well, like dad really doesn't matter, because it's almost like I know like when you and my mom like tell me like, oh, you're doing a good job, it's like, okay, but you guys are supposed to say that. So I feel like with you being present in my life and always loving on me, it's like, okay, well, you're supposed to do that. So I feel like it almost kind of like dismisses you, not dismisses you, but like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
So it was like less of you, and I think it had more to do with the environment that I was in. And on top of that, even though you were present, I think that Justin had a big part to play in it as well, just because he wasn't my dad, but he was like a big male figure in my life for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that also had a big piece to deal with it. Like when he left, I think that was also a thing. But yeah, I think it was just like the environment and, being a black girl growing up like in a white school. I think that took a toll on it, because a lot of guys hated on me kind of unnecessarily, or seen me like as a trophy or something like that. Like, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I remember in middle school, this one boy, which I didn't even know what this meant at the time. One of my friends had to explain it to me, but he had told me that nobody would ever sleep with me unless I had a bag over my head, because he said that my body was nice, but black girls weren't cute. And this was like when I was in 7th grade. So like I think that like the little interactions like that and shit, even dealing with that shit like with girls in middle school and like elementary school, like being left out or whatever like that, I feel like that's also kind of what made me crave like male attention, because the male attention that I got from people that I would want male attention from, I guess, were never really positive. So I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. My next question: which one had the best style?
From what I saw, I would probably, it might be a toss up actually, but that's hard. That's a hard one because I would say between Ted and the Grinch, but Ted I seen on a couple special occasions. I feel.
Right. Yeah. Because I feel like Ted was like, he came around the couple of times that we went out, like.
Where you actually
and even
were going
then, I
out.
kind of dressed him because when I went and bought the pants and the shirt, I did that.
Right.
So yeah, I feel like the Grinch. I agree with the Grinch because I feel like Amphibian was just a lot of pajamas. I feel like he had potential with the style, but he just wasn't doing it right.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even remember him having a style. Now that that we're talking about it, nothing about it stuck out.
He had shoes, but I feel like he wore Crocs a lot, like to the house.
That might have been when it started.
All right, your turn.
That is the beginning of the end. What was I going to say? And this one is one that I don't know if it actually counts, but and it might be one you want to edit out or veto. You don't have to necessarily answer, but what made you tell us about your first time?
My mom. She made me feel, before I told you guys, she made me feel comfortable with telling you guys. And then all of a sudden it was a big fucking deal.
Huh.
Yeah, because a couple days prior to me actually doing anything. Okay, so basically, I won't edit this out. I was actually going to talk about this, and one of my questions kind of has to do with that, so I won't edit it out because I don't really care. But basically, when I lost it, I had told my parents, and everybody oohs and ahs when I tell them that. But like, I don't know, I didn't really have a problem with it. But a couple days prior to me actually going through with anything, I had asked my mom. I was like, I don't really know what, like, I asked her 100%. I think I asked her like what we would do, what I would do, like how she would feel. Like, I don't know. I just asked her a bunch of questions, basically like, what would happen, I guess. And she was like, oh, well, we would just start taking you to regular checkups, and, like, you just have to be safe. And like, she's sitting here making me feel like, okay, like, like it's a normal thing. Like, okay, I'm comfortable. Like, I feel safe, whatever. And then I did it. And then I told my mom, and she lost her ever loving mind.
And that was probably one of the most awkward situations I think I can think of as a parent.
She lost her ever loving mind, lost her shit on me, was so mad. And then she was like, I'm telling your father. And I was like, never mind, I'll fucking tell him. And then she was like, I need to be there. We need to have a conversation. And then that's how she ended up coming over for dinner. And then that's what that was.
That's funny because she tried to be the voice of reason when she came over here.
That was her. Mom, if you're listening to this, that was you. You did that. That was you.
Yeah, that was an awkward situation.
Yeah, and I was awkward, and I knew it was awkward. Yeah. Any motherfucking ways.
Yeah, go ahead.
My next question, which one were you most wrong about? Like, whether you had like a good feeling in the beginning and then it ended up being completely terrible in the end, or you had a terrible feeling in the beginning and then he was good in the end, or like, I guess more good than you thought he was going to be, because I guess none of them really ended well necessarily. But yeah, which one were you the most wrong about?
I would probably say Aquafina because there was a bunch under or happening behind the scenes that I wasn't aware of as far as how he was carrying himself and whatnot. So,
right.
Yeah.
And then also with that, it's funny that the family was trying to talk. That's so funny to me. That's like when friends try to talk shit about like people's friends, knowing like thinking that it's not either gonna one get back to them or two they're not gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's my friend. Like,
Yeah,
what did they think they were doing telling you about your daughter?
that's
You think you were gonna be like, fuck my daughter?
yeah, that's why I
What?
kind of started leaving them alone. Because one, why are you in some kid's business? You're a grown
Right.
ass adult,
Like
and
we were what, 13, 12?
something stupid. I don't even remember. But you're a grown ass adult. Why you're in these kids' business anyways? Why are you sharing it like it's something to be discussed? Why do you even know any of it? It's like this is too much, man. That's why I like. I'm drama free. I'm as much drama free as I could possibly be. I do not invite that shit into my world. I got enough going on. I got enough.
Yeah.
That's why I don't fuck with them too much. I like might get a
Yeah, I was gonna say ever since then, like I feel like you don't really talk to them like that, like
nope.
nothing like that.
Nope. You might get a thumbs up on Facebook.
Yeah, that family was kind of just too much for me too. Because I remember one time, not the aunt that you knew, but the other aunt grabbed my butt one time, and I was uncomfortable after that.
There's all kinds of wild stories with how they get down, which I'm fine with. Live your life, but I'm gonna be over here, not doing
Right.
that.
All right, your question, your turn.
I thought that was mine.
No, I said which one were you most wrong about?
Oh, okay. What else do I? You know what? See if you even remember this one. I don't know if this actually counts as a boy question, but at one point, I remember having a conversation with you, and you were very upset because your circle of female friends, for whatever reason, decided you were going to be the first one to have sex. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
No, then never mind.
When was it, in middle school?
I don't even remember. It was very early on. It was early on and you were dating these little boys you were dating, but you came over one weekend and we had to talk about it, and you never could really explain to me why it was a upsetting thing, or not to a point where that I could understand it. And I just figured maybe it's a girl thing, but I was wondering about that group of friends who ended up being the first. Since it seemed to be, I couldn't tell if when they were saying it to you, was it like a taunt, like ha 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 ha, you're gonna have sex, or what was happening, but you were very bothered by it.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I remember we'd have conversations like that, but it was always like if I was like the first to do anything, I was always the first to have kids, but I never really had a problem with that. Like, because whenever we had talked about that, it was less of, oh, you're going to have sex first. It's like, oh, you're just like the most motherly, which I've always gotten from the jump. So that didn't really bother me. But yeah, I don't remember that. But I don't think that I was the first one. Like, if, like, the thinking of the couple of friend groups that I have, I wasn't. Because if it was like, I'll probably bleep their names out. But like, if it was Ella, no, she did shit before I did. Kaya, I don't know. She fell off the damn rails, but there was talk of her like doing stuff with guys. And then if it was like the bad little friend group that I had, I definitely wasn't the first in that friend group. So
yeah, I don't even remember. I just it stuck with me because you were as bothered as you were.
I kind of wish I remember that. But I also, like I said, like even with amphibian, I feel like a lot of like my middle school time I also kind of blocked out. Like I know in my head and in my heart how bad it was for me and how like toxic it was and like, you know, how traumatizing it was, but I cannot remember specific events, and I would have to do like more research on it, but I think your mental actually blocks out things like that to help you kind of like move forward in a sense. But anyways, we won't get into the psychology of it. But basically what I'm trying to say is I don't remember.
Yeah, no.
Because if it was traumatizing, it's kind of blocked out of my mind.
Yeah, I would imagine it's like a safety measure for yourself.
Yeah.
And can we go back to something you said earlier? We don't have to dive too deep into this, but I'd like to touch on the fact. Yeah, and you didn't say anything in a negative kind of way, but when you're like kind of like, yeah, you're dad, you're supposed to say that kind of stuff. Do you remember the time when I tried to tell you otherwise, and that like not all dads are around for their kids and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, I was trying to let you know that I'm not just doing it for play. I'm not shit. If I didn't think you were doing what you're supposed to be doing, we'd be having a whole different conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways, whose question is it?
Mine. Again, kind of an easy one. Which actually maybe you have a different answer for this one than I think you would. But if I had to marry one of them, which one would you think that I would marry? Or actually, two parts of it. Which one do you think I would choose to marry, and which one would you want me to marry? Spend the rest of my life with them.
Which one do I think you would choose? Okay, let me ask you this. Choose now, like knowing everything that you know, or choose when you were in the middle of the height of your emotions with the person?
Let's say now.
I don't think any of them now.
But okay, but if I had to, like if someone was holding a gun to my head and said, put a ring on a finger, which one? Which one would I put up with?
Maybe the Grinch, because you seem to think that he still has potential of the ones that we've discussed. So I'd say that gun to head, the Grinch.
Okay.
Now, which one would I want you to? Honestly, shit, none of them. I'd rather you be single.
Gun to your head. You had to give one a blessing. Go.
Just cremate me.
Okay. Not too motherfucking much.
Just saying. Pull the fucking trigger. I'm out.
All right.
Fuck all these motherfuckers. I don't even think you've even met the one that's going to give you the real heartbreak yet. I still think that's coming down the line.
I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, you're a very giving soul, my dear.
Yeah. Okay, so you would rather be cremated. Got it. Your turn.
Yeah, I really cannot see any of them. You know, honestly, though, I don't know that I know a whole lot about Bear. Truthfully.
No. And honestly, I guess, like, right now, currently, I don't really either. Like, all we do is follow each other on social media. So, yeah, I don't really know much about him anymore either. But to be fair, I guess I don't know much about Aquafina either anymore. So, yeah.
So, there's that.
Yeah. All right, your turn.
Did I have any more questions?
You didn't do the full 10. You suck at this.
I told you I didn't have full 10.
I thought you ended up coming up with the full 10, though.
No, I did not end up coming up with the full 10, though.
Fricken Dad.
Freaking whatever, man. So, yeah, I don't know what I was going to ask. I had one more.
You didn't write them down?
I did not.
Okay. See, you're fired.
I know. It snuck up on me. I couldn't believe the time had passed like that.
Find me a new dad to do a podcast with.
I was working on the comedy thing. I had to get my 10 minutes right.
Yeah, you're fired for sure.
Shit. But, so yeah, now you kind of regret, the dating early. How do you feel about the sex? You regret it? Just a life learning lesson type deal? What are your emotions now?
I don't know. I guess I wouldn't say I regret it just because, everything's a learning experience, and I guess I wouldn't be where I am today, like, if it didn't happen. But I would say that, so obviously I think it's a learning experience, and I definitely would say, at least for me, I guess it's not the same for everybody, but I think for me, it definitely is one of those things where it's like, it does bring an emotional connection, which I didn't think that it would. But
And for the
Yeah.
listeners, before she moves on, I would like the record to show that I told her this.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like if I didn't, it would have saved myself a lot of heartbreak, but at the same time, I also guess I can't really say whether or not it would have, just because it happened. Like, I can't go back.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't regret it, but I also think that because I had a bad experience with it, I don't think that it's all that it's talked up to be in a way. Like, I don't find it fun, I guess, like it should be. So I think because I did it early and had a bad experience and everything like that, I guess it's not what it could have been.
You also had the wrong motivations, I believe, from the outside
Yeah.
looking in. So there's a lot that goes into that as well. The whys behind
Yeah.
it. I would always stress you and any other young ladies out there. Don't do it for them. If
Yeah,
you
because that's definitely why I did it. Because I don't know if I even told you like why or like what he had said. Did I tell you that?
the exact words, no, but I have a feeling it had something to do with the ex before you that did do stuff.
Yeah, he had basically told me his logic behind it, which I guess, my bad for being easily manipulated into it, but his whole thing was, oh, if we're going to treat this like an adult relationship, we need to do it like the adult way, because some adults will have sex the first date or even before going out on a date. So we need to do it by 6 months. Otherwise, like, we need to have a conversation about our relationship, was essentially his reasoning. And so then I felt pressured and rushed into it when I really don't think that I would have done it if he hadn't said that.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, that
And
would.
then, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that would for sure be the wrong reasons.
Yeah. So, like, obviously going into it for the wrong reason, didn't ever have like a good experience. Like, he also not only went into it with the wrong reasons, but he never made me feel positive about it, I guess. Like, it was just kind of just a lot of pressure all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a constant try to do it type thing. So it just, I don't know. Sex just is not a fun thing for me, I guess. So regret it, yeah and no. Just because it's a learning experience. It was going to happen at some point. I knew that it, like, obviously mental, emotional connections and everything like that. But you learn, you live, you grow. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I was disappointed or anything that you had done it. And I don't know that there's any women. Well, and I'm speaking for all women, like I have a vagina, but I don't know. In my head, I don't imagine most women enjoy their first few encounters. If nothing more than for going into it with the wrong reasons, or you're messing with little boys that don't know what they're doing either. But
Right.
you learn on the job, I guess. So
Right. Yeah, and then I'm also not even like with the whole like negative experience thing. I'm not even talking about like just the first time and like how it hurt and I cried and everything. But like just in general, like with him, like I said, it was just like a lot of pressure. I'm always doing something wrong. Like, it just like overall had put sex like a bad image in my head.
yeah,
So yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no, no problem.
My next question was, what's the biggest lesson that you think I've learned since dating these guys, or how have I grown?
Well, I that's a tough one. I'd like to think that you are more open to the positive or the possibility that they're not necessarily telling you the truth. And not even to say that they're lying. They might not even
Right.
know themselves. They might be, you know what I mean? They might truly believe what they're saying is what they're saying, but that your bullshit meter is a little better now, having gone through and dealt with the few that you've dealt with. That's my hope and prayer, because you haven't even really met any top notch bullshitters yet.
Right.
You will now, but So if there's anything that I hope you've taken from the 5 or 6 is that your bullshit meter's a little better. Yeah, because there's a couple of them that I think played their hands early, but you decided not to see it. So.
And we're back.
I don't have any other names anymore.
Oh, you don't remember them?
I should. Go ahead.
You do?
I think so.
Okay. Okay, so I only have a couple more questions if you don't have any more questions, just because I figured we would just finish them. Okay, so you finished basically what you had to say about the biggest lesson, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the next question that I have is, did you see yourself in any of the guys that I was with?
Probably, honestly, probably the Grinch.
Really?
Probably.
What makes you say that? That kind of surprises me.
Just of the most of them, I think he was the one that had jokes.
Yeah, I guess he did. He probably was the most comfortable, like, joking with you a little bit.
Yeah, I think the others kind of like stood at attention when I said funny shit. Mm-hmm. Like, are you serious? Who would you have said?
I don't know. I think one of the reasons why, like, I was kind of intrigued by, what did I call him?
You don't remember?
Oh, Mickey Mouse. There we go. I was trying not to call him by his actual name. And I feel like I told you this, that, like, he kind of reminded me of you in a way.
Yeah.
But you didn't really see that side of him.
No.
Or shit. That side of him may not have even been really legit either, but, yeah, I don't know. I guess that was my thought, but you didn't see anything of him, so you wouldn't have said that personally.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. I don't know. The Grinch is not something that I would have thought of for sure.
Yeah, if you had to say who I had the most in common with, like I said, I didn't know Bear much. Mm-hmm. Aquafina and Amphetamine didn't really.
Wow. Okay.
Didn't have really much in common with either one of them. Yeah. Not Tom. What'd you call him?
Ted.
Ted. Ted started off on a funky foot, but then I tried to give him a pass because you had said something about you had told him that he could come on in. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of put a bad taste in my mouth with him when he first showed up. It's like, even if you're supposed to be, the door's supposed to be open, you just walked into a stranger's house.
Right.
Should at least tap on the door. I'm coming in. You know, if I could have PTSD or something, I'd be in here to be snapped. I forgot to tell you.
That'd have been.
He's never been right since the war. So,
oh my God.
So yeah, and then I think there's one more that I'm leaving off. No, that's it, because you said the one cat that I never did actually meet, even though that was part of his game.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Next question. Do you think that I've done any not shit things, like cheating or sleeping with the best friend or something like that? Do you think I'm not shit?
I don't think so. Though if I found out you did, I don't know that I could judge you.
Okay. Would you be surprised?
I would be.
Yeah.
I would be. Definitely surprised.
If it's any consolation, I'm not. I haven't done any of that. So.
Yeah, I would be surprised. You seem to judge others harshly when they do, and I just don't see that in your makeup. So.
Right. You said you couldn't judge me, though. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, shit. People do stupid shit. I'm sure there's things I'm not thinking of off the top of my head. I'd be like, yeah, that was dumb.
So you're thinking more. You wouldn't judge me because people do dumb shit, and it is what it is.
Right.
Oh, I was thinking like you were thinking like they weren't shit, so you wouldn't judge me for doing not shit back, like in revenge.
Oh, no, that happens. That happens. I went through a period where I didn't date anybody but married men or men. My God, married women or
and that's the end of the episode. We have to cut it.
married women or women that had boyfriends, just because I didn't. I was not gonna get into a commitment.
Oh God, we'll talk about that in your episode because now I'm intrigued. Anyways, okay, interesting. Next question. This one's kind of funny. Haha, Kiki. So me and Ale came up with this one.
You and who? Oh,
Ale,
go ahead.
how many boys do you think I've snuck in the house, or how many times do you think I've snuck out to see boys? I'm going to judge.
No, I'm still judging. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Do you not even want to think about it?
Man, I'm just trying to think what would be not too crazy of a number where I would be surprised. I don't know. 10, 15 times.
Wow, you think that bad of me?
I don't know. I didn't know 15 is a lot in what, 3 years? How long have you been here?
Yeah, I guess you're right. But no, not that many.
Yeah,
I hope that makes you feel better. I hope that brings you peace of mind.
some. The picture of the one time when you were sleeping. I have to assume that was after hours.
One time when you sleeping.
And you didn't even think about it. I don't know if it's okay to use his name, but the other coffee boy.
Other coffee boy.
He had taken a picture.
Oh, Bishop.
There you go.
Does that really count sneaking him in if Mariah was there?
Kinda.
And if you met him?
Yeah. You think it only counts if it's a total stranger?
Well, and if you knew about it the next morning, like, is it really sneaking him in?
He was snuck in.
Okay, well, shit, I guess if we're counting that, he came over like 4 times. Shit, maybe it is 15 now.
I'm just saying, they weren't part of the equation and weren't necessarily supposed to be allowed in, so any male. I would even say, shit, if you had Tyrant over without saying nothing, it would be, you snuck him in, even though it would be totally safe. Even with Jalen, it would be the same, in my humble opinion.
Okay, well, never mind. We're skipping that question then because now it's too many to fucking count. I wasn't counting them. Okay, last question. You ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
How many people do you think I've slept with?
5.
Hold on now. I can't even fucking think.
You didn't have the answer written down already?
No, I thought about it. Hold on. Wait. Wow, you are right on the motherfucking money.
It's too bad you had to think about it.
Well, I say 4.5.
I don't even want to know.
Yeah, there's a story behind that one. It's Mickey Mouse. It's Mickey Mouse's fault. But 4.5.
No.
Well, that was all my questions.
Yeah. It was the one to end on, too. I'm out. Fuck all that. That's the bullshit right there. Fucking half. I'm out. All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
I don't know how I feel about this episode.
Oh, I'm good.
I wish you had more opinions.
I thought I did.
Yeah, I guess you did towards the end, but I just felt like I did a lot of talking. I wish you had more like negative, juicy opinion. I feel like everyone's gonna wish you had more negative, juicy opinions about these people.
Well, what am I? I mean, either I liked them or I didn't like them. It's not like I'm. Yeah, that guy, I got a hit out on him. Yeah, I fucked his mom. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
I don't know what to
Yeah,
say.
you're right. It's time to call the episode.
I mean, what
You're
is it I say? These people, either I liked them or I didn't like them. And if I
yeah,
didn't
you're
like them, I
right.
usually had a reason for it, and there wasn't a whole lot extra to it.
Right.
Yeah, either gut feelings or I watched their actions and I knew their actions was not matching up with their words. That's why I stress that to you. Like I said, the other with the whole, and I'll say it again probably till I'm blue in the face, and people will be like, "Please stop saying that." But if they can't have these miraculous plans on how they're going to be whatever it is they're talking about being, without telling you at least some of the steps that they're doing to get there,
Right.
because you just don't wake up with that. So tell me what you're doing to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think any of those guys could actually say, well, maybe the Grinch could have said it. I don't know 100%, but the others, I could say confidently. Maybe even Ted. Ted might have been doing some things, or would have done some things with you holding his hand, but none of the rest can I say that about
Right.
necessarily. One of the Aquanauts,
The first one and the second.
the first Aquanaut probably, but he was so young.
Not that is funny as fuck.
He was so young. It was more his mom's plan for him than it was his. I don't think he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go pro baseball." I think it was more his mom saying that at that time. It would be my assumption. So
Does Isla watch Octonauts? Is that where you came up with that?
no, just popped in my head.
Oh, that's funny because there's a show called Octonauts.
I remember the show itself. I never watched it. Just I know the title.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's all the questions I had. It was definitely a longer episode, but I don't know. I hope you guys got the enjoyment out of it that you wanted.
Yeah, if not, tell me what was missing, because I don't know what the hell you would have been looking for.
Yeah, I don't really know either. I guess I was thinking that this was juicier, but my only thought, and I even had this thought though before doing this, is I felt like you kind of knew a lot of it.
Yeah, I don't. That's the thing.
So,
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't get to be surprised.
yeah, I just felt like a lot of it we had already talked about at some point. But
There
yeah,
was
hope you
one
guys
point
enjoyed.
I thought you were going to tell me you were pregnant.
No fucking way did you think that.
Well, you asked me what would I do, or what would I do if you were pregnant, or if you told me you were pregnant, would I make you get an abortion? And I said no. I might strongly suggest it, but I wouldn't make you do anything. I just would support you. You don't remember that?
I do remember that, but you thought I was pregnant?
No. I thought you might have been. I mean, that's how you would set it up, right?
Yeah.
So I was waiting, and then you didn't finish it with nothing. So I was like, okay, we good.
Oh my fucking god! Wait, are you talking about you thought I was gonna tell you that I was pregnant back then or now?
Yeah, no, back then you could have been getting ready to when you asked that question.
I don't even know when I did it. I don't know what boy.
Me either. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I do remember having that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember you saying something about how you were concerned about me going on with my life and my dreams if I were to have a baby.
Yeah. They're not easy.
That would have been a crazy way to end the episode for me to tell you that. That would have been something else.
Yeah, because the next episode would have been me in the hospital. What happened? I jumped out my 1-story window and I lived.
I'm on drugs.
All I did was break my leg. I got a slight concussion, and I'm on Valium now.
Yeah, no, still on birth control. I'm good. That is funny though. Yeah, I don't know. That's the end of the episode. There was a thought which you can't really comment, I don't think, on any podcasting platforms, but if anyone wanted to let me know after listening to this, I was thinking on top of doing your girl episode like we were talking about, we could do a relationship advice kind of episode, because I feel like a lot of this was kind of just telling stories and going down the timeline versus us getting into the nitty-gritty, I guess, or you know what I'm saying? There could be a separate episode for advice or lessons learned or how to get through things or whatever. So, if anyone wants that episode, I guess let us know.
Yeah, I'm really great with advice.
Are you?
Yeah, if you listen, asshole.
I do listen after the fact.
After the fact. Damage is done.
And did I not tell you were right? Can you just take that win and live with it, or what?
It's just going to happen over and over.
No, because I'm learning. Fuck. Anyways, this is the end of the episode. Bye. Forever. Bye. We're never speaking again.
Peace out, sauerkraut. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of the Fricken Dad podcast.
Don't forget to save and rate and do whatever else it is that you do with podcasts. Tune in every Wednesday for our new episodes.
Follow us on our personal social medias for updates. They will be in the description. Follow me at I Crack Myself Up on Instagram to follow me on my comedy journey.
And me at It's Bellaboo, 2 A's on Instagram to follow me through the rest of my journey.
Again, tune in every Wednesday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And this is the Fricken Dad podcast.